What's going on, VLA family? Hey, I want to run through this really quickly. This is a sample job description for youth pastors. Now, full disclaimer, I know this doesn't fit every context, etc. And please, if you were to take this exact script and apply it to your job right now, please be sure that you get it approved by your direct report uh, before you stop doing certain things and start doing others. Okay, so all right, let's run through this really raw video here. Just want to bring some helpful content to you. This is something that I have put together essentially in my head over years, and so I just figured that I'd get it on paper here. Okay, so the objective of a youth pastor, as you can just read along with me, a youth pastor plans, evaluates, coordinates, and is responsible for all aspects of the youth ministry. He or she provides leadership for growth and direction of the group into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ through Bible teaching, mentorship, and personal example. I assume that we could all agree on the objective, the point, the mission of a youth pastor: effectively disciple the next generation, okay, or the youth, whatever you want to call it there. Here are a few tasks of a youth pastor. These have been tasks that I have pursued, um, to complete, to accomplish over time. And again, this might not fit every context. So chew the meat, spit the bones. Okay. A task: provide counseling, support, and discipleship. Okay. Counseling, of course, pastoral counseling. I wouldn't claim that you're a counselor unless you're an actual licensed counselor. You provide support. I think that's pretty obvious. And discipleship, our core objective there. Okay. Next bullet point: offers biblical instruction and exhortation. Okay. Exhortation just means advise, to strongly advise, to encourage. Okay. So biblical instruction and exhortation, biblical advice, biblical encouragement. Okay. So let's not be quick to share our own opinions or instructions that absolutely don't share instructions that misalign with the Word of God. So that's where we pull all of our instruction from. If you give good advice, try to give them book, chapter, and verse on where this is found. Okay. Next bullet: organize and execute a variety of events, such as, but not limited to, okay, weekly youth services and or Bible studies. So whatever your model is, that's what we organize and execute through team building, through planning, through strategizing, through the actual implementation and execution of the evening. Uh, Monthly youth social activity. This is something that I found is really popular, first of all, in people, but for sure, Gen Z, they love coming together. They love being together in community. So I found that just a good, at least a monthly social activity, whether it's, going to the skating rink, going to a game together, gathering in the church parking lot for a block party, something where they hang out outside of a church service. Okay. Youth ministry it's very old school to think of a service solely when you hear the word or the term youth ministry. Youth ministry is much larger than a service. Okay. That would be your youth service, right? But it's not your youth ministry. It's much larger. Okay. It's gathering online on social media. It's gathering in person for community events. It's outreaches. It's, etc. Okay. And then, of course, your annual youth camps and retreats. Summer is coming up. I'm recording this video in February 2023. It is my little boy's birthday today, so I should remember that. Okay. Um, Okay, so yeah, youth camps and retreats, organizing that, of course, delegating to team members after you've team built, etc. Okay, so you're in charge of that. That's pretty obvious there. The next bullet, to provide leadership training and opportunities to serve on a weekly basis, on Sunday, at youth service, and other events. I'll go ahead and put, of course, building teams for social media, outreaches, etc. as well. Okay, so providing the proper training, whether it's yourself doing that, having another staff member coming in, having, assigned, I don't know, curriculum or videos, having a guest come in. You are just the one responsible on making sure that they are trained and equipped, for number one, their purpose, but secondly, for the task at hand. Okay. Next bullet, build relationships with families of the youth. This is big, to build relationships with families of the youth. Okay. You know my philosophy now. I think 10 years ago, I wasn't as open to, parents being involved. I think part of that was probably personal insecurities. I didn't know how to lead up properly. And I put it under, the disguise of, well, I don't want my kids feeling, I don't want the youth feeling, insecure because their parents are there. Or, I think it's time to scratch that. Now I'm a parent. I think that that for sure has changed things, but even before that, parents bring so much value, man, in the partnership, of the ministry. And so, yeah, getting parents, getting, parents, and adults involved. Of course, there must be a vetting process, etc. But it is extremely valuable to have that, representation. And I'm telling you, man, people are your greatest resource and assets, especially other adult volunteers, not just young adults. I'm talking about adults, I'm talking about like, uh, my age and beyond here, and older, even older ones. Because man, when you start building the culture and getting your, youth involved, like on Sundays, you're gonna want them to have that relationship with an older person that has, gone before them. And here's the truth: unless you have a student ministry of 4 people, you can't effectively that's just an example. You can effectively pastor and mentor everybody. So you need other shepherds to co-labor with you, to partner with you. So please get adults involved, of course, the right ones. Okay, there must be a process, etc. We could talk more about that on a personal, call. Okay, so build relationships with families of the youth. Now, of course, that goes beyond parents. It's, to kind of just get to know their context, and if they have siblings, younger ones, older ones, if they have, cousins in the house or whatever, just getting to know them on a personal level is part of this point as well. Okay, the next one, engage with youth outside of ministry settings. This is huge. Engage with them, go to where they are. Gone are the days that we just make a post and we say, hey, come to us. We got to go to them. Go out there and get them. If you want to grow your ministry, then go grow it. Get out there, boots on the ground, um, go to their schools, get involved, bring the front office, your Starbucks, you know, get relationship with them. You want your number to be on speed dial with the school faculties. Okay. All right. Next point, work in collaboration with the church's team. It's important to be a good team player, to work under the pivot system. If somebody else needs some assistance on staff, whether it's the kids department or small groups or facilities, whatever it might be, you are a team player. Okay, so work in collaboration, of course, communicate with them what you need to regarding your department as well, and the relevant, um, team members. Next point goes hand in hand with the prior point, fill in any gap needed. That's just what we do as a team player, not just a youth pastor. I know youth pastors, we are notorious for, doing so many different things, wearing so many hats, but I have not been a youth pastor. I have been in other positions to where, maybe in the very beginning, I thought I would have the excuse that I only had to do that one thing. That's just not, first of all, that's not realistic. Number two, that's not being a team player. Fill in the gap that you need. That's just a good leader. Okay. So if there's a gap, of course, do your job, make sure your job is handled. But we are team players. We are to work in collaboration with one another. Okay, next point. Let's run through these. Train the youth how to be leaders in every sphere of their life. Okay, on the football field, in their clubs, um, in their friend groups, even at home, at school. Not just how to preach. Okay, that's old school thinking. That's a little bit drought type thinking that we have to only teach people how to preach. Everybody has to be preachers. Absolutely not. Everybody is called to preach. When I say preach, of course, everybody is to be, declarers of the word of God, but not always on a mic at a church. Okay, so people are called to many different avenues. People are gifted in many different ways. That's what makes up the body. And so train them how to be leaders in every sphere of their life. Okay. Just good to teach good leadership. Of course, biblically based leadership. Biblical based leadership. Okay. Next point. Reports to direct report assigned by the lead pastor or the XP. Okay, so whoever your direct report is, I don't know how your model works. You might not have that in your church, but make sure that you are accountable to someone. Okay. Oversee, guide, and equip those who staff the youth department. So you're the one that is to oversee those that might be in the youth department. So if you have an admin, if you have a social media director, whatever, if you have a youth staff, you are their oversight. Well, it's likely, unless your model is just somehow different. Okay. As far as management and stewardship, so next portion, you are to make sure that all the social media is stewarded, whether you are the one that actually does it or not, executes it or not. You are the point person for it. Okay, so if something goes something goes wayward with it, we are held responsible. Okay, don't say, "Oh, that was my social media director's fault." But hey, let's just make sure that we take on the accountability that we need to take on, and maybe it's just we are to do a better job at leading and giving instructions, etc. Okay, so we can't assume that other people are just going to handle it. Okay, we need to make sure that we lead that out well. Manage all youth planning center duties. So I don't know what your CRM or people management software is, but it's likely it's PCO or planning center online. So whatever it is, you are the one that essentially oversees that. So again, you might not be the one actually executing it, because if you were to delegate, train effectively and diligently other team members, they might could do a lot of this stuff, and it might give them a sense of purpose and belonging. But again, you are the one essentially who will oversee that. And then, of course, the youth ministry's budget. Okay. Attendance and contribution. So, of course, you are present and attending all staff meetings. You are to attend all Sunday church services. And that's a big one for me. Being present, being a team player, wherever you're needed. Yeah, I got stories for days, and I'm sure you do too. Okay, so we're it's just being a good team player. And Sunday, it's game day, right? I know I say that loosely. It's not a game, but it's time to lock in and focus. Okay, so next point, attend all growth tracks. So whatever your kind of membership process, your onboarding process is, you're present for that. Attend all first Wednesdays. So I don't know if your church has Wednesday services or whatnot, but just my point here is just being present, not just attending, but also contributing as well. So serving where you need. Okay, always looking with the eyes of leadership. Where can I plug into and contribute to this evening? Okay, you can't just look at yourself. Oh, I'm just a youth pastor. If there's not a youth thing happening, I'm not needed. Okay, my philosophy and my conviction is I'm a team player. I'm on this team. Okay, I'm on the bus, and I'm going to help this bus move forward. I'm going to do what I can do. I'm going to go above and beyond. Okay. Jesus said, hey, if you only do what you're asked, you're not profitable, right? I want to go above and beyond my title, and I just want to serve, right? Because realistically, a whole nother thing, but that's what we did before we got the job, right? We just loved serving, and suddenly we get the position, and we're like, okay, I'm just going to do this one thing. No, we're still a leader. We're still a team player. We're still a servant of all. Okay. Now, again, disclaimer, if your model is completely different, dismiss some of the stuff that I'm saying. Okay. All right. Attend all Saturday prayer times. Again, being present and contributing. Time commitment. Look, if you're full time salary at a church, um, it's simple to work a minimum of 40 hours, especially if you are a team player. Okay. I'm sure a lot of us, even before we got the job, we were at the church. Some of us, beyond this. And when we didn't get paid, some of you might be, bivocational and you're putting in over 40 hours and you're only getting paid for 20. That's all right. As long as you have a good rhythm and you're healthy and family's good, that's all right, man. Just serve away. Give your life away, of course, by being healthy as well and having appropriate boundaries. So I think it's completely, I think that if you're, at least I found that if you're a full time minister at a church, man, this is just very simple to hit because there are many weeks you get up, especially around camp seasons and event, seasons. I mean, you're getting up 60 plus a week sometimes. Now, again, all depends on your culture and the season, etc. But so with this whole thing that I talked about today, okay, chew the meat, spit the bones, apply what needs to be applied. I just wanted to say, hey, this is what, and um, this is a sample of a youth pastor's job profile. Okay, hope that helped at all. I'm going to also drop all these resources now under the bonus resources and content tab on the VLA's content on the curriculum to make it easy for you to access. Hope this helped today. Thanks for requesting this. And hey, I love you guys. Talk to you soon.